Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the weekly, the reoccurring, the extravagantly reoccurring Power Half Hour Tuesday edition. I am your host, Tyler Holland. With me, as always, we've got Lane Daughtry and Tyler Twombly. And behind the scenes, we have Nightwave Wingman Bro, Dragon Scott Man, and Dragon Scott. I don't know where that came from, but that's his new name. So, yeah. Thanks for being here, everybody. Matthew Frederickson, heyo, what up? We've got a great show, and we're going to move through it today. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it fun. We're going to keep it high energy, and it is going to be a great time. So here's what we're doing. You know what? Usually I say, how's it going? What's up? I don't care. I don't care because today we've got stuff to do, okay? We're about to talk about something really fun, and I want to hear your comments about this subject. What is the best fandom and why? I will be arguing on behalf of the Marvel Universe. Not the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but Marvel itself. Lane, I believe, is doing...
I am absolutely doing Star Wars. 100%.
Star Wars. Nice. And Tyler?
I'll be doing the Christian classics.
Like,
the Christian,
such
like
as
lots of Pilgrim Progress.
Pilgrim's Progress,
VeggieTales.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anything by
Salty
C.S.
the Bible.
Lewis.
How about the
Not
Protestant
salty.
Reformation and the
It's not
95
canon.
Thesis?
Here's the trick, guys. Here's how we're doing this. I'm giving everybody exactly 1 minute on the clock to make their argument. Lane, you're first, and your argument starts now.
Okay, so the reason I think Star Wars is the greatest is because I was watching on a top 50 movies that changed like cinema of all time, and my mom was like, or I said, okay, Star Wars is gonna be number one, obviously, and my mom was like, nah, and then it got closer to the top 10, and then Star Wars was number one. So like, it is a very well-known thing that Star Wars changed the way cinema is. It's been around for 40 plus years.
30 seconds.
I think it adds a lot to sci-fi. It adds a lot to how movies are made with special effects, and that does not help me, Tyler.
Got 15 seconds.
I think it's got
We've
great
zero
characters,
about Star
great
Wars
backstory, great lore and history. It has an expansive universe.
Give us a basic outline of the entire series, please, in 5 seconds.
Lane, you get an extra 10 seconds because Tyler kept interrupting you.
Okay. So it's got something for everybody. It's multi-generational. So older people, like people in their 20s, and then younger people, they have things for them.
All right. Great job, Lane. Tyler, go.
So I'm arguing for the Christian classics. I'm definitely going to go specifically with the Chronicles of Narnia. Here's why. There are a lot of books, like
Narnia?
7, I think. Magician's Nephew, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The one about the horse and that boy. Silver
Horse
Chair. Voyage of the Dawn Treader. The Last Battle. Is there another one?
If it's called The Last Battle, probably not.
I think that's it. Anyways, so it starts with the Magician's Nephew at number 1, but we don't know that yet. It starts really with the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, where a lion gives up his life for these young children. It's very, very Christian.
Like Jesus.
So it has deep connections to real life. That's point number 1. Point number 2, it's got great character growth. There's even a young boy. He's small, reminds me of Nolan, kind of a jerk, who changes his life in the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So there's great character development, and man, I wasted all my time, didn't I?
Hey, but at least you named all the books. Okay. We are starting, for me, in Marvel Universe now.
Edmund.
Humans have always longed for purpose. They've longed to know who they are, how they fit into the universe. And let me tell you something right now. No fandom, no creative team does that better historically than the Marvel Universe. Whether you are represented in the outcast, whether you have some sort of great ability, and you need to understand that humility must accompany that, because with great power comes great responsibility. Whatever it may be, maybe the world hates you in your eyes, as it does Christians sometimes, and you need to know how to live in that world. Obviously, we start with the Bible, but the X-Men can show us a lot too, okay? So we have Spider-Man, we have the X-Men, we have the Fantastic Four, a family unit. We all know how important family is. We've got all sorts of things, and then we haven't even scratched the surface, because there's the whole cosmic Marvel universe that talks about the infinite wonder of the world that we live in. What a reflection of the Christian walk is the Marvel universe.
We just got
I
destroyed.
feel like,
Twombly.
I feel like you practiced that.
Let us know in the comment section
I mean, you know,
who
it
you
wasn't
think
close, but
won
I thought I did
that
adequately.
there. But yeah, that was fun. So let's move on. Well, let's see comments. It's good to see you, Amy. It's good to see you, Rebecca. We got Matthew in here. Yeah,
I don't
so
think
glad
we
y'all are
got
here today.
today.
Amy said that boy, and Rebecca's wondering why you called her son a jerk. Cry face. Rebecca gave me
'cause
the
he
vote
is.
for the win. I appreciate that. Godspeed. Don't do Turkish delight. Yes, so true. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move to the first movie we remember watching all the time. So I'm not saying the first movie you ever saw. I'm saying the first movie that you were like, I'm putting this VHS on repeat. I'm putting, this is what I'm going to wear out. So we'll start this time with Tyler.
You're gonna have to be more specific. It's me. All right. So, ironically enough, the movie that I watched most growing up as a child is also the first movie I ever went to the movie theater to watch. It's Space Jam. It's a little known movie about a young athletic hero, Michael Jordan, who had ditched his calling to play baseball. And he actually was a lot better than we remember, but he's not very good in the movie. And he's so bad, in fact, that the Looney Tunes bring him into Looney World to help defeat an alien evil. It's incredible. I
That
have
was
very
offered-
specific memories going to the theater to watch it. Definitely my sister being born. This would have been in 97, so I was 4. She was being born. Me and my brother Christian were staying at somebody's house. We were both vomiting because we were all sick. But I watched it at night to make me feel better. And there
I
are other times
believe
that
I can.
watched it.
Do you need
There it is.
Pepto Bismol? Nah, I just need that Space Jam.
Give me Space Jam. Could I just? It was actually a ploy. I forced myself to throw up, and on the bed she asked, "What'll make
That's
you feel
not
better?" And I
okay.
said,
Space Jam.
All right, Lane, what you got?
Okay, so there are some popular ones that I could say, but the one that I think I remember I just watched because like this is what I was into as a kid. Like this was my not Space Jam, but it was my regular jam.
Yeah.
I loved Tonka trucks. So I had like this 35-minute video, like almost like children's documentary style about construction equipment. And I would just eat that up like ice cream. Just I would get my Tonka trucks out and I would be like, man, I have a toy dump truck, and I see a toy dump truck or a big dump truck on the TV, and like this is what I'm about. And I watched it probably twice a day for like 7 months.
That's awesome. It's a solid one. It's hard for me because it was a little bit longer for me to have to think back than it is for y'all. But somewhere in the late 80s, I watched Little Mermaid a lot. But I think I didn't really start watching something over and over and over again until like the early 90s, specifically like 92, 93. There were a few movies that came out that were excellent. I mean, this is the era of Mighty Ducks. This is the era of Three Ninjas. If you're not familiar with that,
Sure.
shame on you.
You should.
But probably the movie that I've mentioned it before, but I had a toy. I had lots of toys of it. I had I was an obsession with it. I would say it was Hook. I was all about Hook. I loved Rufio. I loved Peter Pan. I loved everything about the movie. It was awesome. Could probably quote it. So my movie that I remember just destroying that DVD was Hook. For some reason, I also, or not DVD, VHS. I also remember the very vividly the E.T. VHS because it was green, and the Rugrats Go to Paris VHS was an orange one. So there's that. The Free Willy one
Good
came
one.
with a little flute.
Oh, that's cool.
I remember
So-
watching Free Willy a lot.
Show and tell. I'll start show and tell today. Got this dude right here from the Age of Apocalypse. He is Sunfire. He is powerful. He is Japanese, and he is got the power to control this fire that is all over his body, kind of like the Human Torch. But I actually think he might be more powerful. I'd have to look up power levels. Just a cool looking figure. Got him with the Sugar Man wave fairly recently, but yeah, lots of articulation, standard butterfly joints now. But just a solid Sunfire figure. It's something Japanese that I can't pronounce. So yeah, Sunfire though is his code name. Yeah. So what do y'all got?
Isn't Sunfire supposed to be in New Mutants? Or
I think Sunspot is in New Mutants. Yeah, I think so. I get them confused sometimes. So I don't know. Lane, why don't you give us one?
Okay, here we go. So I went to Georgia on vacation this weekend to Blue Ridge, hang out at Jess's family's cabin. We hung out, we played Dungeons and Dragons, we float down the river, we had a good time. But I got this awesome sticker because I know people are into putting stickers on their like water bottles and stuff, and I really hadn't done that, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start. So I have this Blue Ridge sticker. It's got a bear on it.
Cool.
I also have your Trash Pandas. I have a bear on a bike, and I have High Point Climbing. So these are my water bottle stickers that I am now.
I like it. I had a water bottle in elementary school that me and a friend who never got to play on the basketball team nicknamed Dolan Bear. I don't know why we called it that. It was just a pink Life's Good water bottle. We literally sat on the bench so long that we just goofed off, and the coach never.
Bench warmers.
Yeah, it was great. Oh, this is my show and tell. This seems to be an anthropomorphic pig.
Peppa.
It's one of my son's favorite cartoons. It's got a British name I can't pronounce. Standard butterfly joints.
You can't pronounce Peppa Pig?
Good articulation.
It's Pepper.
No, it's Peppa. We watch it a lot.
Rosy cheeks, little girl, cute little red dress. As you can see, I'll give it my best pronunciation. Peppa.
Okay, that was good. That was good.
And she tends to go.
That's pigs do. If she stays in the sun too long, she turns into bacon.
That is true. A horrifying truth. Only for the pig.
You were supposed to slowly turn her head towards the camera.
Crispy bacon.
There it is.
Yeah. My son calls her Peppa, but I call her Bacon.
How dark. All right. Well, that is show and tell, and I believe that Lane is going to lead us now.
I do. So for all of y'all watching currently and those who will watch this in the future, not live, hello and welcome. But you know, instead of talking to you over the internet, I would love to see students in person. And in the student ministry, we do a lot of events. So I'm going to ask my fellow ministers here what they are most looking forward to in the student ministry when we do stuff in person again. So Twombly, let's start with you.
I would have to go with our Monday Bible studies. I really enjoy those. Fun time to hang out, get to know people, and talk about the Bible. I miss it. It's been,
absolutely.
It was fun way to get to know people, and can't really do that.
All right, Holland.
I'm gonna cheat and do two. I really miss Tuesday hangouts, and I really miss Wednesday night. And I'm really excited about some different things we're doing on Wednesday night this year, but those two things are really different. That's why I say they're tied, because one's kind of focused towards a smaller group and one's kind of focused towards everybody. But those are both, you know, God wired me to do those kinds of things and to be a part of those kind of things. So I miss that. It's not the same doing YouTube, but we're having fun and doing it anyway. But yeah, we're excited about going back to those.
My event that I'm also looking forward to is Tuesday Hangout, but specifically when we play hide and seek and the 6th to 8th grade boys misinterpret what I am saying is hide and seek is just tag, and they'll just run around and
That's true.
just yell, and it's wonderful. So I've had to get creative on what kind of rules to make for hide and
Mm.
seek to actually make them play hide and seek, and it's just the best 35-40 minutes of your life.
Yeah, that's
I
fun.
love trying to see if I can hide somewhere where the kids won't find me.
I
As
love
it
hiding
turns out,
somewhere that's the same spot every single time.
No
That's my
spoilers.
favorite. All right. Well, thank you, Lane. We're going to go on straight into a quick little spit and truth right now. This is crazy. This book was written in Trellis and the Vine, written in 2009. The last chapter closes like this. Imagine this: as we write, the first worrying signs of the swine flu pandemic are making headlines around the world. Imagine that the pandemic swept through your part of the world and that all public assemblies of more than 3 people were banned by the government for reasons of public health and safety. And let's say that due to some catastrophic combination of local circumstances, this ban had to remain in place for 18 months. Obviously, that's slightly more intense even than what we're going through right now, but it's very, very similar. And this was written over 10 years ago. So kind of crazy thinking about this guy posing this, but it has a good question that we need to think about. So this is specifically written to a pastor, this sentence is, but how would your congregation, if say your congregation was 120 members, how would it continue to function with no regular church gatherings of any kind and no home groups and all that kind of stuff? But then I want y'all all to think about this. Here's the interesting question. After 18 months, or whenever the pandemic is over and you can go back to normal, when the ban is lifted and you're able to reconvene Sunday gatherings and all the rest of the meetings and all the activities of church life, what would you do differently? So different people in different positions and different stages of life and different mindsets might answer that question differently. But I think that it's important that we think, as we're going through this weird time right now where we're having to talk about what we are excited about when everything's normal again, during this time of abnormality, are we going to come out and just try to be the exact same that we were before? Or are we going to try to be different and better and more effective, specifically with the things of a Christian nature, whether it's evangelizing or bringing people in or being better disciples and disciple makers or being better with memorization and focusing on the things that we need to focus on? Like, what is it that we're going to change? What is it? And I'm not speaking specifically as the youth minister for the youth ministry. I'm speaking as a Christian. How should believers be different as we re-enter the world? Now, right now, we shouldn't be on pause. Like, we should still be pointing people towards Jesus. But how does life look different when everything's normal again? Guys, and a lot of it's 90% rhetorical, but do y'all have anything that just pops to mind right now?
Yeah, I do. I think that especially in this time, looking back on what we see as normal life, we take a lot of things for granted. So it's like, oh, being in community with people and being able to go to the store. And for a lot of people with the economy, like being able to work hours and have a job. So I think um, looking at the blessings that God has given us and the provisions is something that we take for granted sometimes. And then just like relationships with people, I think I will definitely be more back because like I miss being around people. And then just like being able to see those specific people again, just like really, really leaning into like being intentional with those conversations.
Good, thank you. Tyler, you got anything?
I definitely think getting back to like life group stuff at church, I'll think about differently because I haven't been able to hang out with people closer to my own age. Especially being new here, that's been more difficult. So I think even for students, like just being able to be more intentional when I hang out with them, because I haven't got to hang out with more than maybe one or two at a time, and I think just enjoying having a relationship with other people and pursuing personal service of others more than just like, look how visiting this group helps me feel like I attend or feel like I check off a box or something.
Yeah. I think what comes to my mind is making the most of every moment when you have, for me, it's like when you're at camp or something, when everything seems to be going really well. If it's a really good camp and you're hanging out with everybody, and maybe you're having an awesome night of worship, and you have really fun games, and it's just living the dream, and just making the most of those moments, knowing that we're not promised those moments. Like that's not something that will always exist. So just making the most of those moments, and then just being ready to make the most of all the moments. So thank y'all so much for being here. Y'all are awesome. For Lane, for Tyler, for Nightwave Wingman, what I say, Dragon Scott. I'm Tyler. Don't forget, be bright and stay classy.